Careless with Cash, the Empire.
And we're back. Episode 10 of World Soccer Daily, an Arc Soccer Collective original. I'm your host, as always, Kurtis here with my buddies, Wendell and Dupe, teaming up with you guys at the end of the week. I know I had everybody separate for the episodes, but we got a great episode for you guys. We're going to go review the knockout stage of the Champions League. A lot of information to get there. Obviously, the Real Madrid Glimt game. Real Madrid Benfica game is going to be the topic of discussion, but we're going to get through the other ones first. But before we get to that, Wendell, Dupe, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. Been a long day, but, leave it up to Kurt to bring the entertainment in before we start.
Hey, man, I got to make sure I'm right. Okay, so for everybody at home, because Dupe's going to come in and give you this whole monologue about how I'm doing everything but work. So text everybody, hey, everybody, 8 o'clock, you guys ready to get on the pod so we can record, have this episode out for tomorrow. Yeah, we're good. Get the text. Send everybody their invites. We're ready to shoot the pod. And, me, who I am, just trying to make sure I look as good as possible for the audience as I can at home. And make sure I brush my teeth, put Vaseline on my lips. But according to Dupe, that's not okay. You can't do that before you do a podcast. You got to look crazy, ashy, dusty, all that type of stuff. But go ahead, Dupe. How are you doing today, Dupe? How's your day going?
You know what he just did? He just did the 8 Mile.
I really did.
He just did the 8 Mile before I could come in and cook. He said, let me take claim for all of this real quick.
Yep. Clarence lives with his parents.
All right. Not the B-Rabbit approach, but I'm going to respect it. You know what? I'm going to respect it. I ain't say you had to look dusty. All I said was, ain't nobody going to smell your breath from here.
But you can tell when someone has bad breath when they're talking. You can tell.
On a podcast?
You can tell. Yes. I've
Is
seen
the
plenty of
microphone on fire?
I've seen plenty of podcasts where the guy is talking. I'm like, yeah, he ain't shower, he ain't brush his teeth. He just turned that camera on and started recording. I'm trying to make sure I don't look like that. My mom would not allow me to look like that on TV. But let's get into what we actually come here to talk about: soccer in the knockout stage of the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start with Glimt over Internazionale, Inter Milan, 3-1. A very interesting game. There's a couple of takeaways I have. I want to get your take on this, Dupe, because this is a really interesting statistic I kind of looked at post-match. Glimt had 6 shots on goal. 8 shot attempts, 6 shots on goal, while Inter Milan had 4 shots on goal, 15 shot attempts. 2% possession was to Glimt and 57% possession was to Inter Milan. With all that being said, at the end of the day, the scoreline read 3-1 Inter Milan, and we never really had a conversation about these types of games. But do break that game down for me and why Inter ended up in the situation they are in now.
I mean, let's be real. Inter's quality does dip a bit, and I think Border did a great job of just countering and being prepared. I mean, you got to really look at it not every team is built to play this possession style these days, especially in Champions League matches. The best team wins sometimes is the one that just has a good counterattack. And that's what they did. They didn't have to sit there and try to keep possession. They're not going to keep possession with Inter Milan the whole time for what? If they can capitalize on their opportunities and Inter can't, job well done. Game over. They did what they needed to do. They finished their chances. And I mean, Inter's season has kind of been, up and down, especially when certain players don't show up to play. Yeah. So I'm not surprised by this result, but I will say Boda did their thing in being consistent in front of the goal and managing their opportunities.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was gonna say. They were consistent in front of the goal. It seemed like a true team who came to play. Who in the locker room, they were all on one page. They knew we got nothing to lose in this game. We just gotta go out there and do our thing, And it showed. It seemed like they. You know how, when we were younger, there were teams that played together for years and years and years. That's how they looked like they played. They just knew where each other was going to be. They just played fearlessly.
They did. And just to add on to that, it's just Inter Milan is just, for me, it just feels like this was just not a team that was kind of all over the place. No? How did the game look to you?
I look at it like this. Inter's pretty consistent in their style of play this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
But it also depends on who's up front for them and how their midfield is playing. Their defense has never been strong this entire season.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's always been about who's up front for them and how their pace of the game is. If the game slows down a bit, it is usually a bit of a struggle for them. And we've seen it in Serie A, and it translates to the Champions League. You're not going to beat teams by just keeping possession. It's just
Gotcha.
not going to work these days in today's game. Teams are prepared, especially teams that have been together, understanding a system
Mhm.
like Boda did. They stuck to their system. They did not adjust to, oh, we're playing Inter Milan. We're going to sit back and just, weather the storm. No, when they countered, and they made it count.
They did.
So for me, job well done.
Agreed.
Now, where do you think this leads for Inter Milan for the second leg? Do you think they rally and make it a second leg that they can advance from, or do you think this is kind of it for them and we're talking about Bodo Glimt moving on to the second round? Wendell?
What do I want, or what is it going to be?
Let's go with what do you think it's going to be first?
What do I think it's going to be? I think they'll. Well, let me think about that for a second, because like Dupe said, like their form dips, it goes up and down all the time. So like maybe this is a period of a couple weeks where their form is down, and they maybe they do win, but it's like a 2-1 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't think it's as straightforward as many people think. Like, oh yeah, and they just had a bad day, like they'll come back the next leg. I don't think it's that straightforward. So I do think they win, but they're gonna have to work. So
I don't think they got it in them.
you don't think so?
Mhm.
Nope. I think Border is going to be the shocker of this match.
Deep dive on
think-
that for me.
I think a lot of times when you have a team that can show up like that and steal a victory, because that's a big victory to steal.
Absolutely.
I think for me, you steal a 3-1 win and you go back to the next match, you can kind of play the same game you played the last time because they have something to prove. You don't. They got to go for it.
Yeah.
So the
that's true.
pressure is really now on Inter. It's not on Border. You know what I'm saying? So to me, they can play the same game that they played the last time and not really have to drift off from that.
It's very true, and I agree with you on that. Dupe it really is. It is their game to win. I mean, at this point, but like what you said, Bodo Glimt has to go into this next game fearless. Like, okay, we did it, so we can do it again. Why not? There is a lot more pressure with Inter. So thinking about it just now, working out in my head, I'm not sure if Inter kind of advances from this. It's going to be tough. But let's transition into some more Italian struggle in the knockout stages of the Champions League and talk about Juventus and Galatasaray. Now with this game, I'm not surprised that Galatasaray won, but I'm also surprised at the scoreline. Juve was up at half, and this is why I always say being up at half is kind of like a death sentence to me. The biggest fear I have when I'm coaching a team, obviously, is being up early and having that false sense of confidence, and I really think that came to effect with Juventus today. Now, there's one key play I want to talk about where I feel like the game was kind of over after this happened, and that's when Thuram was in the defensive third with the ball and just kind of passes back, leading into that third goal that ended up kind of putting a nail in the coffin and giving any chance that Juventus had at coming back kind of out the window. What is to be made the play of Juventus in this game? Because it felt like at first they looked like a team who was kind of looking like they were just going to walk over Galatasaray. I have side note, I don't like seeing Weston McKennie up top.
Hey.
You're a hater.
Hey.
You're a hater.
Hey. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah,
I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah. I'm going to get, but with that being said, what do you guys make of that pivotal moment in the game? And then we'll talk about Weston McKennie after that. I don't know why I had that word vomit right there, but go ahead.
Nah, you're good. It just boils down to being lazy play, not being locked in and thinking that you got the game, which nobody should ever think that in any point of a Champions League game. You should never think that you have the game, because this is the Champions League. This is different. Like people do play until the fat lady sings, like until the very last second. So I think it was just lazy play. Like he switched off, and I can only assume he's beating himself up about it, but who knows really? Because
he did look somewhat dejected after he gave it up.
I mean, when you have a
Well,
crucial
go ahead.
midfielder that makes an error like that in that part of the field, I mean, I think it's pretty consistent, and I don't like to label it as that, but it's really the Serie A. Like, the competition, you can get away with playing slow and those kind of passes, And sometimes players still have that false reality of like, okay, yeah, I can make this happen. I can do that pass. Not realizing that, oh yeah, my quality of competition is better. These players are hungrier, and that's what happened. You're playing against Galatasaray, ain't no slouch. And
Yeah,
it's not that I think he thought that they were a slouch, but it's just Serie A teams fall into this lull of like lack of competition and lack of pace.
yeah.
And when they get to
Mhm.
Champions League, it's a hard thing for them to translate because they don't play at a pace like that.
Right.
And I mean,
So-
you usually see these kind of errors happen when teams play with a lack of pace or lack of urgency sometimes throughout the game. And it's just rhythm.
So here's my question for you then, Dupe. So I'm seeing, I agree with you that there's clearly a situation where the Italian teams are coming to the Champions League and finding some sort of struggle within it. But with that being said, Galatasaray is playing in Turkey. They're not playing in the most competitive league themselves, so you would kind of feel like, wouldn't Inter Milan have the advantage in this matchup? Whereas Galatasaray to me seems like, and don't get me wrong, Besiktas, there are other great teams in the Turkish Super League, but I don't believe that there are teams that compete at the level collectively at the level in Serie A as. Let me walk that back for a second. I don't think there is a team. I don't think the Turkish Super League is as competitive as Serie A, but they're coming in and playing harder as opposed to Serie A teams who are coming in and playing lesser from teams from other countries and playing with this dilapidated look, it feels,
So here, let me give it to you like this. The pace in the Turkish league compared to the pace of the Serie A is night and day.
Mhm.
So you're playing a different pace in the Turkish league, the Superliga.
Mhm.
So what you have to think about is this. Galatasaray has been known from inception to play and pressure non-stop. Like that is their go-to. No matter who is the coach, you have to press. You have to play at a pace, a level to be at Galatasaray. That is their structure through and through. That is their DNA. Serie A teams play a slower pace unless they have a team that just happens to be built to have that great counter, which we saw Inter a few years ago when they went to the final. When Juve goes on their run, when AC Milan goes on their run and have their couple of wins, they're usually playing at a pace. That's not the case consistently. And if you look at Galatasaray in that match, they were hungry. Why? They have something to prove. And when you have players that are coming back fresh off of AFCON with something to prove, you're going to get those type of results. And Inter Milan fell asleep. And Juve fell asleep in the match.
Mhm.
And it happens. Because if you really look at it, prior to, Weston had just scored a couple goals. They're praising him for playing that forward. And now, what happens? They start off 2-0. They get the hot start, but they get comfortable. You can never get comfortable.
'Tis true. Now, with that being said, Wendell, how did you feel about Weston McKennie playing up top?
I think that the U.S. national team now has 3 strikers that they can put up front. They well,
We'll talk
They
about him in a little
got-
bit.
what's the other dude? Not Pepe?
Ricardo
Ricardo Pepe?
Pepe.
Yeah.
I think we
And
can use Pepe, but
you
you know what?
Ashman.
I don't think you got Ajiman.
I
But this is a different conversation. But I don't think we have Ajiman right.
I
yet.
think
Really?
we can use Weston up there.
I just don't. Every time I see it, it kind of like makes me like. It makes I roll my eyes every time I see it because it's like I understand he can play up there. I get that. We don't need him up there this summer. We don't need him playing like that, getting ready for this summer because he's not going to be up there this summer.
Well, I think it boils down to he's too good to keep off the field, right? So where can you play other people to their strengths and play him to where he can help other people enhance their strengths, right? So I don't think that I think he wasn't he obviously wasn't playing like Holland, you know what I'm saying? But he was more of a facilitator guy, which is what he does in the midfield. So it was kind of almost like a false nine almost, but
It is a false nine.
I mean, yeah.
What's your opinion on it, Dupe?
You know.
In my opinion, for Juve, what he does is he gives them flexibility and freedom because they don't have a player like him. Because if you look, Weston's whole entire career at Juve has been, where are they going to play him? Where are they going to play him? He's played almost everywhere.
every position.
Because he is that good. The problem that they have is they don't have players like that in that country, so to speak. And if you look at just Italy in general, over the last 10 years, they've kind of fallen off of their structure of players. They've all fit into a box and they haven't been able to get the Pirlos again. They haven't been able to show those bright players that make people excited. So now when they see a player like Weston, who they've had for some years, they're like, well, where do we play him? We play him at right back. We play him in the 6. We play him at the 8. We play him at the 10. Now we're going to put him at striker. Weston at any other club is playing at the 8.
Yep.
He's a box-to-box player.
Exactly. Where he needs to be.
But in regards to the U.S. national team, it's going to be very tricky to me because Pulisic doesn't have a true position. And I've said this before. When it comes to the national team, he does not have it because he's not a striker, he's not a winger, and he's not a true 10. So where do you play him? Weston fits to me along the same regard because he's not a winger. He is a center midfielder because he has the dynamite in him. But he also has to have somebody behind him that stays. So they, like I said, they need a true 6. But for me, Weston can play at a false 9 the same way Pulisic can. Weston can also play at the 8 or the 10 and do that structurally because he's built to do that. So for me, that's where he could be. Him playing the striker position right now does not hurt us because we need goal scorers and we cannot always count on our strikers.
Well, and I mean, I agree with you on that because just to bring it back into what was going on in the game, he was involved heavily in that attacking third, and he was very pivotal in their movements, especially with those first 2 goals. But I'm just worried that he's playing a position that he's not going to be playing this summer, and it's going to affect what happens with the national team because, truth be told, we don't know where he's probably going to be playing somewhere in the mid higher up, but I just feel like I don't want to be in a situation where we're shooting the pod in this summer and we're saying, well, we have this big hole in the defensive third. What can we do to fill it up? Because I'm gonna say Weston McKennie.
That is not his role.
But if he's up top and he's doing what he's doing up there, and you know that he can be doing something in the middle of the field, and we already
let somebody else figure it out.
We're gonna talk about the Monaco PSG game right after this and talk about the other guys we have that can score goals for our team. So just because you have Weston McKennie who can also score goals too, it doesn't necessarily mean you need him up there scoring the goals. That's just where I'm coming from with this. It's like I understand he's able to do it, but we don't need him to do it.
But then, let me give you this. If you look at our midfield right now, it's wide open. Just so is our strikers. It's wide open. So if you have a player that can do both and he's hot and in form, you're in the right direction. Because not all of our players in either of those spots are hot and in form.
It's fair. That is very fair. But we'll have to see when we get to that this summer. Let's talk about PSG Monaco though for a second. That's gonna be this was a very interesting game. PSG did, and I have to give Luis Enrique all the credit in the world for this because taking out Ousmane Dembele and putting in Desiree Doué ended up becoming the deciding factor in this game, and that's just what coaching will do for you in the right moments. But let's break it down for a second. Monaco came in hot. 2 goals by Folarin Balogun, and I thought for a second we were looking at I thought we were looking at the future. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. For a second, I thought number one, I thought Monaco was gonna win the game easily. But number 2, I was getting ready to get in the group chat and say Folarin Balogun is the guy, he is the GOAT. I was getting ready to say all that stuff. It's a big game. Think about it. You're coming up against the defending champions. You scored 2 goals with that much confidence, and you're an American? English, but American.
You played them in this league.
But it's the moment. Well, here's the thing. It's the moment. You're in the Champions League playing PSG, and you score those 2 goals. For an American, that's a lot. It's a lot. To me, it means more than just those 2 goals. And I really do believe that he is showing flashes of what could possibly be for us up top. And then we put some up. This is why Weston McKennie doesn't need to be up there. But let's get back to the game. See,
Go ahead.
Dupe is trying to play with my mentals today. He's getting me off topic when I'm trying to bring in the topics, and he's doing all these faces and getting me thrown off.
Listen, he has done this time and time again. He will score and then he disappears. He scored 2 goals. Listen, I applaud it. His consistency is never there. It's 2 goals, pretty good. I hope he does more. But guess what? Monaco, PSG, they're in the same league. What are we really celebrating? You know what I'm saying? 2-0 lead. You do your
understand.
thing. You score 2 goals. No different from Weston scoring a bicycle kick a week ago. We applauded. We happy. What we gonna do the next game? Because he will score these 2 and will not score for another 3 weeks.
I got to give you pushback on this, though. I understand they play in the same league, but this is a different game. It doesn't matter that you play in the same league when this situation is kind of put into totality and you look at it from an objective stance. So think about it. You got a defending champion, and you have AS Monaco, who is really and truthfully a project. I mean, being in the knockout stages is honestly a blessing for them, in my opinion. But they're a project team, and then you have a team with he's not playing right now, Paul Pogba, and a team with Ansu Fati, and then I hear Fulham Balogun's name the most. I think that's something to applaud as an American fan. What do you think, Wendell?
As an American fan, yes. If we didn't deep dive into this all the time, then yes, I agree with you. But I never for a second thought that PSG wasn't gonna come back. It's PSG. You know what I mean? Like there's some teams where when they play, they will come back. PSG, City, Liverpool are just 3 examples. Like when they go down, they play hard. For some reason, they get off the bus when they get down. They get off the bus. I don't know why, but that's just what they do. But I mean, I guess if I can help you make a point, yeah. When you see Flo play like that, we're like, nah, we can't put Weston up there. Like that's a waste of space. You know what I mean? So like, I do see what you're saying. When you look at just the totality of the 2 games compared, like we got to put Weston somewhere else. He started hot, and Flo kind of cooled off. Well, but you got to give credit, like you said, to Luis Enrique. He had his Nick Saban moment. He pulled off.
He did.
He pulled off Jalen Hurts and put on Tua.
So what do you make of that? What do y'all make of that substitution? Do you think that's telling about Ousmane Dembele's form right now, his injury history? Do you think he's regressing back into what he used to be, or do you think this is just a?
I mean, for me, I think it's Dembele. He has these moments where he is hotter than a firecracker and there's no one that can stop him. And then he has moments where it's just like, all right, we gonna sub you. And the thing about it is, PSG has 3 of the top 5 wingers in the world right now.
Crazy.
So when you look at what Luis Enrique is doing, he can put on either any one of his 3 options and figure it out. And they're gonna get chances. That is given. Their isolation 1v1, he does the best job. I think Luis Enrique has figured out how to keep his wingers so isolated that when they get the ball, they can do whatever they want.
They go crazy.
All right, so Dupe, how do you like their chances of getting back to the finals?
I mean, I don't really see nobody that can stop them again. Like to be quite honest, Real Madrid isn't well put together. There's no balance. Any of the top 4, it's the same kind of situation. So as far as like big clubs go, unless they get surprised by someone, I mean, that's it. But their midfield, amazing. Backline, unstoppable. Frontline, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see Dupe. You don't want to see Balcoa. You don't want to see Dembele. You don't want to see it.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about Super K. If Super K start coming at people, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very interesting case to see that PSG is now this type of team after all these years of Neymar's and Ibrahimovic and Messi and everybody that they had, that it turnstile of a team that they were to what they are now. And it just goes to show you kind of like what a different philosophy will do for a team.
What happened was they turned around on the training ground and they looked and they saw they had a youth academy back there. They're like, oh, wait, the youth academy. We forgot about them. That's exactly what happened.
It's amazing what happens when you just kind of try and figure it out in-house, right? Instead of just trying to throw money like you're Manchester United.
With the right coach.
Yeah.
With the right coach. Agreed.
With the right coach, too. I mean, again, hats off to Luis Enrique because I mean, he looks like Nick Saban moment is the best way to encapsulate that.
Yeah.
It's just I know what's going on, and I know how to fix it.
Wait, so I got a question about that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all think that Luis Enrique has coached himself? It's gonna sound weird. He has coached himself into PSG. So like saying like he wasn't as good as a coach as he is now before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that being the PSG coach, he has coached himself into a different tier of coach?
Yes. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
He took what he knew already from Barca and his errors, and he adjusted that at PSG.
Mm-hmm.
He realized I have talent that's not fully unified. What does Barcelona have? A unified, very strategic, very structured system. He brought that same idea to PSG. The minute he got Dembele on form and to buy in, and everybody else followed right after that, and then he built that midfield, he knew no one could be able to stop it. We're just seeing the fruits of his labor now as far as coaching goes. He knows when they got Super K to come in there, people didn't expect him to be the kind of player that he is right now. This man is lights out. Balcoa a few years ago was just pure pace, trying things, not necessarily hitting the mark like he is now. Talented. Dupe. You knew he was a young talent, didn't know how good of a talent. Crazy. Vitinha, mind you, was at Wolves.
Was at Wolves, yeah, crazy, yeah. Wolves.
Look at him now.
Being relegated.
Right. So to me, it's just like he figured out, I got the best young talent that I can put together with this group. I'm going to show people how this Barcelona system can impact another country. It's the same thing Pep did when he got to City. Same kind of structure, same kind of. Only difference is he bought those talents in with the money. What Luis Enrique has done is develop some of that young talent and showed the world what they can do. Because right now, Vitinha looks like Modric when he got to Real Madrid.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Mendes as a left back, people are like, who was this guy? Top
A dog.
five.
A dog.
Marquinhos has always been a great defender. Now he looks like he looks better than Thiago Silva in his heyday at AC Milan. Unbeatable.
So what do you think? So what do you think the future? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dupe.
No. I was just saying it just shows you what great coaching and managerial ability can do with the right talent.
So what do you think he does? So what do you think his career is with PSG? Do you think he's going to be here for the next 5 or so years, or do you think do you think PSG goes the Real Madrid route where they're kind of consistently changing out the coaches and changing out the system and changing out the players?
Not if they're smart.
No?
Yeah, not
What do
if
you
they're
think,
smart.
Dupe?
I don't see them being able to find a manager to do what Luis Enrique is doing. And no drop to the other managers out there, but if you look at the Premier League and how the carousel has gone, there aren't that many good coaches. Like, if Carlo Ancelotti's name is still popping in the conversations,
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there.
It's just a reality. Think about it. If Pep retires right now after this season and walks away, Klopp has walked away. Xavi, all the other coaches are literally young disciples of them. Xavi Alonso is still out there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at all these other coaches that have proven a little bit, but not as much.
Gotcha.
So now it's time for them to really like make their names, because all the other coaches, you know what you're going to get.
That's fair. That's true. All right, guys. Now let's go to the Madrid portion of the Champions League talk. We're going to start with Atletico Madrid first, not Real Madrid. That's
you got
us. I got you with the
us.
Euro step. So Atletico Madrid against Bruges, 3-3 draw, a very surprising result. A lot to make of this. And what do you make of this first, though, Wendell? What were your initial thoughts on the game? And then I'll go to you. I'll go to you after Dupe.
I think Club Brugge, they should have left out the stadium like Shador like this. I mean, as we've seen Atletico like in the last few weeks firing on also. They just Lookman. They brought Lookman in. He's been looking real good.
I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Go ahead.
And then like this, the team has just been they've been on a high recently, at least from what I've seen. And for Club Brugge, another kind of like Bodo Glimt, they. In the locker room, they're like, hey, look, we got nothing to lose. So let's just go out here and let's do our thing. And, they walked out like this for the 3-3 draw. It's 0-0 now. It's 0-0.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at it like this. Atletico played Barcelona a few weeks ago and then had no possession. Stole the victory.
Mhm.
Barca had as many shots as they wanted to. It could have been a different scoreline.
Yep.
Atleti has had a lot of injuries, but also the fact that their defense has not been as strong as it has been in years previous. So they're literally now relying strictly on their attack to make something happen. So am I surprised that Club Brugge got those goals? Not necessarily, because Atleti's defense has been kind of leaking, They haven't been as strong in the back. But kudos to Bruges for coming in and getting a result.
Kudos to everybody on Bruges, but Simone Mignolet, he knows why.
Oh, you hate it.
Yeah. But no, I think it was a great game for Bruges. I think they played well. I am kind of shocked with Atletico Madrid, and I wanted to talk about Lookman because you mentioned his goal. But to me, you bring in Lookman over the summer. I mean, I'm sorry, over the January transfer window. You bring in Lookman, but you have these problems in defense. So what was walk me through? Or maybe not walk me through, but in hindsight, don't you think maybe that time in January could have been spent buying better players for this moment right now? Or do you think that it just is what it is and they're just going to have to wait it out until they can be a healthy team again?
I don't know. I feel like you can say that for any team, right? Like there are issues that they addressed and issues that they didn't address, right? But I was kind of just thinking, it seems like them Atletico bringing in Lookman when they have Julian Alvarez kind of seems like the poor man's City where they have Holland and they bring in Semenyo. It's just like, that's like the JV version of it. I don't know why I thought about that.
I really didn't understand them. Because, I mean, trust me, I knew after the African Cup of Nations, Lookman was going to be a hot commodity. I didn't see Real Madrid. I mean, I didn't see Atletico Madrid being the team he went to. It was kind of an eyebrow raiser. It has worked out for him, but I feel like Atletico Madrid could have went another direction.
Well, it's probably a case of this is a player that they've been looking at, and it just so happened that, the price was right, the timing was right, and maybe that was the only player for them financially through their board that they looked at it in totality. Like, we can bring in one player, and it looks like it's going to be him. So let's just do it. That's what it seems like to me, because they didn't address any of the defensive issues.
Hey, what do you think, Dupe?
I mean, where was he going to go, in my opinion?
Chelsea.
Why?
Because it's a thing with me. I just say it's like how Lakers fans it's like how Lakers fans just say everybody's gonna be a Laker.
Yeah, no.
I saw him at African Cup of Nations and I was like, he needs to come play for Chelsea. I think he looked good in blue.
No sense. Where is he gonna play?
Doesn't matter. We sign 11 wingers all the time. It doesn't matter.
I see you wanted 12. I mean, in my opinion, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Atleti is a great fit for him right now because it's his coming of age moment at a big club.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a big coach.
Yeah.
So he's also surrounded by players who are of the caliber. So now we get to see him rise to that level. So I think it's great. It's a great place for him to be. Does he stay there till the summer? Who knows? Because if he stays hot, he could be gone in the summer, to a different situation. But I think right now, him at Atleti, it is a great marriage. I think he's performing at a high level. I think he's doing exactly what we knew he could do. But I don't think Atleti's never been the club to just start buying a bunch of players either. So they're going to endure whatever they're going to endure and thug it out, because that's just a Simeone way. They built that way.
Now, and I want to hit on that. Do you agree with the Simeone way if that's the case? Because the Simeone way got you a tie in this game, and it can easily get you eliminated in the next one. Now, we can talk about the Simeone method all the time, and he has these extreme. He's a very extreme, somewhat extreme guy sometimes here and there. But to me, it just doesn't. It just didn't make sense, and it's showing right now. Like, you scored goals, cool. You didn't defend any though.
You think he don't know that?
Yeah.
The man just played Barca. The man just beat Barca off a counterattack. You think he don't know he gonna give up goals? Let's be real.
But I think you're playing a dangerous game when you do this, because you can't always come out victorious.
He's willing to play that game. He's built for that game right now. He knows I have half my team is hurt. I'm gonna look to score goals, and anybody that can put a goal in, I'm gonna do that, because we're gonna press, we're gonna outwork. And if we steal the win, we steal the win. If we give up 2, so what? You're not going to beat us easily.
Right.
And that's been consistent of the Simeone way. It's direct.
Last
If
thoughts
you
before we
give
go
up
to
2,
Madrid, Wendell. Go ahead.
so if you give up 2, but you score 3, you still win. You know what I mean? So
Period.
like it's kind of
It's too risky for me. Too risky
Run
for
and
me.
gun, baby. Run and gun.
yeah.
All right, now let's get to the main event of the night, or of all nights that night, of the Champions League knockout stage. Real Madrid versus Benfica. So this game there was a lot of interesting takes, obviously. We've all seen the outfall from it. We've all seen everything, the comments that were made post-match. But let's talk about the game first. Let's hit this in order. Let's go from game, talk about the goal and how it fell out from that goal, and work into that. So Real Madrid, first leg against Benfica in Portugal, which is important for this topic. Vini scores what is an amazing goal. Walk us through that goal for a second, Wendell.
It seems like vintage Vinny to me, and he finally not really had the confidence, but it felt like he had the wherewithal to finally cut in at the right time and hit the right shot. Obviously, left wingers, that's what they go do. They go cut into their right and have a hit. This one felt like he'd been on the training ground for a minute practicing that one, like trying to get his form back.
Yeah. He looked very in form.
Yeah.
Now
he had a good game. He had a good game.
Now, I want to talk about the yellow card, and I want to get your opinion on this, Dupe. Now, we've seen guys celebrate goals all the time and do all kinds of extravagant dances, and nothing ever happens unless they take off a shirt or there's some sort of fan interaction that's frowned upon. Okay. All I saw was Vinny dancing. Now, maybe the camera's cut and I saw something that might have actually warranted a yellow card, but what did you see that maybe, if you want to play devil's advocate for this, justify the yellow card? But if you don't see anything, what did you think about that yellow card?
I'm going to say this. We've been watching the game for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen
You can say 30. We all in our 30s.
Right. We done seen fish celebrations. We done seen dances. We done seen Mourinho slide halfway down the field. We done seen Pep run up and down the field. We done seen it all. I've never seen a referee give a yellow card for dancing. Not like that. The man scores a banger and you want to give him a yellow card for dancing, and that's your justification. And everyone's commenting to me saying, and not necessarily to me personally, but saying, well, oh, he celebrated. What was he supposed to do? To stand there and go like this? Like, what is the difference? Leonard? We just saw Cunha do a dance a couple of weeks ago. We see, we see players do. Peter Crouch had his own dance when he scored. What are we talking about?
Very bad dance, by the way.
but what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? We've seen every player across all leagues do a celebration. So now we're trying to say, oh, well, you can't celebrate? Like, what are we doing?
And 20 minutes and after the game, I did like 20 minutes of like evaluating the game, watching the highlights again on YouTube. And I thought about it for a second. That yellow card kind of kicked off everything. In my opinion, if you don't give that yellow card, I don't see a situation where, because after the yellow card, Vinny lost his mind, rightfully so. And he became the classic Vinny we always see on camera, yelling, being very emotional, being erratic, rightfully so, because he got a yellow card for no reason, essentially. But that's where he got into it with Prestiani. And from what I saw, and obviously Mbappe kind of confirms, and we'll get to that portion of this story as well, but from what I've seen, there's no way you can justify, you can say, and this is all alleged. Allegedly, he called him a monkey. But when someone says something offensive to somebody, their initial reaction is to go and look for some sort of remedy for what just happened. There's no way it's coming out of thin air. Something was said. And the fact that Prestiani's kind of been silent about this, Benfica's been silent about it as well, kind of shows you how they feel about what happened and how they're trying to tuck their tail on the situation. But what do you think needs to be made of that situation, Wendell? And on top of that, how do you feel about the referee's yellow card? Not to go back into how necessary it was, but do you think that it also kind of triggered this whole chain of events?
The yellow card, I feel like was the yellow card kind of felt personal a little bit. Like he's refed one of Real Madrid's games before where Vinny's been a little erratic, and he kind of wanted to. He's like, oh, you got a goal. Let me nip it in the bud right now before before it goes any further. That's kind of how it felt to me. It felt personal.
Mm.
But I do think that Benfica's, their press release or whatever was super soft, super whack.
Abysmal.
Yeah, it was terrible. They were like, "Oh, well, the player said he didn't do it, so we support him." So how about that game, guy? Like that's what it felt like. Like it wasn't. It wasn't
felt
genuine.
like a gloss over, and it felt like a.
Yeah.
Let's try to talk about soccer again. Let's try to talk about everything else besides this.
Right
Now, Dupe, I want to talk about Jose Mourinho for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You said it already. You've seen him knee slide across the sidelines, celebrate with ball boys, do everything he can when it's his time to be happy and for goals. His comments seem to be the most tone deaf, out of touch, and I'm honestly surprised to hear these kind of comments from him. I'll pull it up while you're talking, and I'll probably try to read it off to everybody. But for him to essentially say Benfica isn't racist because we've had black players before in the past, and all this leaving it up for the doubt, it's just, to me, it's just like, Jose Mourinho, no, you didn't need to do this. You were a guy people respect. First and foremost, Prestiani should have been taken off by Jose Mourinho, and that could have stopped a lot of it. That could have alleviated a lot of issues. He would have looked like a hero in a sense. But what do you make of his comments, too?
I think, actually, no, I don't even think. I know Josie's regretting his words right now. He knows it, and he's going to hear from his former players. He will hear it from them first. Because he knows, number one, anything that involves race, there has to be a line drawn.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want to draw the line there, so he did we had Eusebio. But that makes no sense. That has nothing to do with what's going on right now.
Right.
Just to quote, not to interrupt you, but just to quote Kat off of CBS Golazo, she said, "That's like saying I have black friends." I have black friends argument.
That's what I was going to say.
And that's kind of like, whoa, like, you're right. Like, why would you say that's the worst thing to say in this moment? Say something else. Like, but go ahead.
But he's not, and this is, to be quite honest, this is a problem within the game. We all look at racism and no one ever wants to draw a line. You never hear of the world-class players or world-class coaches drawing a line when it comes to racism. And for me, it's just like whenever you hear racism, you never hear Messi, you never hear Ronaldo, you never hear, Gerard, you never hear big players come out and say, no, this shouldn't be happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a small comment and then we go right back to football.
Yeah, I agree.
And so for me, Jose Mourinho just did the same thing, like, oh, let's go back to football, rather than, you know what, this was wrong, and this is where we stand with it. I'm not for it, I'm against it. But it's just a catchphrase. Like the say no to racism that we see at every game, it's just a catchphrase. It's not something that is ever really emphasized. FIFA has never pushed it. And so because to me, the players of that world-class level never speak about it, it's never become a thing.
Yep.
And I think,
and so it just gets brushed under the rug.
And just to take it to a personal level, I mean, candidly, we're all three black men who play soccer. I think we've all kind of experienced some sort of racism in the game.
Yeah.
It would be great to see someone like Messi or Ronaldo come out and outright stand against it. I mean, not to say that they're not against it, but I'm with you on that. I want to see active action from star soccer players who don't have a dog in the fight. It can't just be Vinny. It can't just be people like Mbappe, who, by the way, and I want to get your comments on this one, Wendell. Like Mbappe, for all the things we say about Mbappe, what type of team player he is, he stepped up and supported Vinny in that post-match interview. He did. He wasn't for it. He said this was he didn't like it. He admitted he said he heard the word monkey being said by Prestiani, and he said we're not going to do that. And he stood up to bat for his teammate. What do you make of those comments, and what do you make of Mbappe for his comments on this situation?
Good of him to speak up, because a lot of players, especially like popular players like him, they won't say anything. But I think in this moment he knew that it was bigger than the game, right? So like he's like he's like, that's my boy. Like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna not say something. And it does seem like Mbappe is very slowly becoming that leader and that vocal leader that Real Madrid, for all intents and purposes, don't have.
not to take it off topic, but I was going to say that same thing. It does feel like he's becoming a better player at Real Madrid.
Agreed.
Like off the field and on like doing the other things, not just being that skillful talent. It seems like he's understanding the game in totality. What do you think, Dupe?
Correct.
I think Mbappe is understanding his position in the world. I don't think Madrid has anything to do with it. I think the fact that he's now on the world stage more and he realizes a lot of his fans are young black kids. And he was once a fan of another black player. And I think for me, it reminds me of when Balotelli used to go through it in Italy. And we just seen it when the young U17, I think, or U17 German national team went through this. Again, so this has been going on for so long, and Vinny has been very vocal about it. And for me, I think the fact that he is vocal about it, and if Prestiani really didn't say anything, he really could have went up to him and said, no, I meant this. You could have shown an expression if you knew someone thought you said something else, especially towards that degree. You don't go to the teammates and say, oh, well, I didn't say that. You could have went to Vinny and said, no, I meant this, like, my fault. I wasn't trying to say that. No matter however you want to mix your words or the languages or whatever, you know what you're saying. And if you meant something else, you could have went to him and say, I meant something else. You didn't have to let Vinny go off on a parade. And you could have even went to Josie and said something. You could have went to, you know what I'm saying?
To the refs.
Right. And said, no, or even just say, can you bring us together for a second? This is what I meant to say. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, my fault. None of that was done. So
And
to me, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Now I wanted to get your take on that too. Like, I feel like his silence kind of set Vinny up once the game resumed because the fans started booing. Like anytime Vinny got the ball, it just became all out pandemonium. You have the ref at one point, and I wanted to talk about this portion as well, when it was time to take a corner, trying to tell Vinny not to go to the corner, to take a corner, which I want to hit on a completely different scope because that's changing the game. You're changing the game, telling Vinny not to take a corner kick. To me, like, that's the part that is lost in all of this in translation is you're trying to change people's strategies so that he doesn't get bottles thrown at him instead of just stopping the racism where cutting it out. It's not on Vinny to change how he's playing soccer because people want to be racist. I'm not going to say that Benfica was being racist. Let me clarify that as well. I'm gonna give the Benfica support the benefit of the doubt. You have a player like Vinny, you know who Vinny is, you know he wears his heart on his sleeve. Everybody loves to boo Vinny when he comes to their stadium. So I understand them maybe not fully understanding the grasp of what was happening on the field because you're just watching. Obviously, you don't have the commentators in your ear telling you that there might have been a racial abuse incident that just took place. But at the same time, it doesn't look good for it doesn't look good for Portugal. It doesn't look good for Benfica. And Jose Mourinho trying to defend them in response, it just all was a big setup. Like, what do you think about that, dude? Like, how do you feel? How do we move on from that?
To be quite honest with you, we don't. We've been doing this for how many years now?
Right.
I think, if anything, Josie himself should come out and say something. I think Ronaldo himself, being the face of Portugal, should come out and have a discussion with the entire federation. I think, the referee involved in the match should have a discussion. I think the fans, in my honesty, what should happen is Benfica should have to play matches with no one in the stadium.
I agree.
For the rest of the year.
I've been a big proponent of that in terms of when these racial instances happen. I've always said to myself, just clear the stadium. Nothing will stop it quicker than clearing the stadium, but they always come with, and I want you to answer this question because they always come with this, well, then you know what's going to happen next. People are just going to dress up as fans of the team that they don't like and just say racial slurs and come to the stadium. Like, let's be real, people. That's not going to happen. Like, to go through all that it's very unlikely. There's a comparison I could bring in politics, but we're not a political podcast.
Right.
It's the same situation. You're just giving a what if to justify not stopping what needs to be stopped.
Right.
Simple and plain. They just should be penalized across the board. And this should be a time where the peers of the game, Vinny's peers, and those such as Ronaldo, the Messis, the Mbappes, all of them need to have a conversation.
That's exactly what I was about to say. If I'm Vinny, or if I'm Mbappe, right? I'm on the phone with Ronaldo. I'm on the phone with Messi. I'm on the phone with
Neymar.
Erling Haaland. I'm on the phone with
Every star.
every star in every league around the world. And we're having a conversation like, hey, what can we do collectively as players to protect each other? Right? Because sometimes it's not always just Black players. Sometimes it is the African players. You know, you don't have to be Black to be African. You don't know that. But like in some it's the Black players, the Black Germans, the Black English players, the Black Italian player, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's a lot more in depth than people understand.
Right.
And there are some very unique words for you people from different regions of the world that get said
Right.
that some people won't even clock in their head that it's a racial slur that's being said.
Right.
Go
And
ahead.
so
You know
like
what?
when we get all say
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would
got
say
you.
once these collective of people come together and they iron out, you know, what they think can be done to help combat racism, they need to take that directly to the president of FIFA. Not the vice president, not the secretary, we need to have a sit down face-to-face meeting with the president of FIFA, and these are our concerns. These are what we want changed. This is not what we need to have changed. This is what we want, or we will boycott. That's the only thing that's gonna ever somewhat try and fix this.
You gotta force their hand.
You gotta force your hand.
Go ahead, Dupe.
I was gonna say, if you want to have an impact, Vinny, just as well as Mbappe, is sponsored by Nike.
Mhm.
Ronaldo is sponsored by Nike.
Yeah.
Advertising.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna make something be known. You want to create a
Movement.
shift or a movement. Advertising.
Yeah.
Just saying no to racism, that's done. We're gonna have to let that go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really make a pitch about racism in the
And you-
countries.
And it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember this. I mean, you guys definitely remember this. This wasn't too long ago, but when Dani Alves was with Barcelona and somebody threw a banana at him and he ate the banana and kind of like owning the moment. And then there was that viral kind of moment where people were eating bananas on Instagram and tagging Dani Alves and showing the support. What I liked about that was the unifying force that became in soccer, where everybody was taking a picture with the banana. It was trendy. It was cool. What I did not like about that was that there was no real action after the fact. So, yeah, we saw pundits all across the world, guys on Sky Sports even doing the banana celebration or the banana challenge thing with Dani Alves, but you didn't actually put pen to paper and change some rules that could help alleviate
If you don't
this
hold
problem.
people accountable, it's all well and cool to be supportive, but if there's zero accountability, it's just gonna keep happening.
Yeah.
You know?
All performative.
Yeah.
No one did anything besides say a prayer when a young 17-year-old kid from AC Milan committed suicide for being attacked with racism.
Mm-hmm.
It was only talked about for a little bit. The German national team, those kids, talked about for a little bit. Samuel Eto'o, when it happened to him, talked about for a little bit. Balotelli, when it happened to him, talked about for a little bit. Vinny, it's been talked about for over 2 years now.
Long time.
He's literally been by himself. Racism advocate by himself.
Yep.
And yet here we are again. So it's either the federation gets punished, the clubs gets punished, the league gets punished, or the players and the staff. Somewhere along that tier, people have to get punished.
And if you want to hear a crazy stat of the day, since 2018, Vinny has been indirectly or directly involved in 20 racial incidents. Since 2018.
Sheesh.
It's more than a problem at this point. Like, I don't really know how else to like kind of encapsulate that, but it is one of those things where it's kind of like you gotta go all the way to the top of the ladder on this one. I'm not gonna say UEFA. I'm gonna just go straight to the whole. We gotta deal with this. Has to be addressed by FIFA. Like UEFA, they're gonna do whatever they need to do. They have already suspended Prestiani. It's a slap on the wrist in my opinion, because one, I'm gonna go back to the game and say Mourinho should have took him off the field. Even if he didn't say it, the way the game's ended for 10 minutes, to keep the game going, just get him off the field. He's not that integral to this team. He's not
The
their
game
guy.
should have stopped right there.
It should have
Period.
stopped right there. Vinny
If
tried
Vinny
to
walks
stop.
off the field and then Mbappe put it this way, people had so much to say about AFCON when Senegal walked off the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
People had more to say about that than they did about this match.
Yep.
If Real Madrid would have walked off the field, that would have said something.
And Vinny was trying to, but it seemed like everybody was trying to stop him from doing that.
Of course they're
Because
going to stop him.
because it feels like they're getting tired of Vinny standing up for himself. And that's where and this is where I want to take the conversation now, is just the fatigue of racism, because there is a fatigue in racism. You get tired of talking about it all the time. You get tired of dealing with it. So there are people who may not have a racist bone in their body, but are tired of hearing about racism. Dude, what would you say to them? Because those are the people who need to understand this the most, and because they're the ones who I believe are integral to the change that could happen.
You'll never understand unless it happens to you. And that's the best way to really put it. No one necessarily understands. I remember vividly, I remember being 15. We played in North Carolina. I remember parents attacking me on the game. Like, I'm playing the game. I'm the only black kid on the field. And I remember them having comments for 90 minutes. I'll never forget.
I remember. I was at the games too. I remember.
Yeah.
Right. So this isn't new. We have to play through this. We have to keep going. We walk into these teams, to these clubs, and a lot of times we have to go through it. It's very rare that it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
For context, for those who said I was there too, Dupe used to play soccer with my older brother. Little history about the podcast.
So it's just one of those things where it's very rare that it's on the other foot.
Yeah.
And around the world, this is happening. It's not just, oh yeah, it happened at Benfica. No, it happened at AC Milan. It happened for an entire national team group of kids.
Yeah.
So imagine you just won something and your own country doesn't give you the love.
It's just the world we are in these days. But I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't want to see another fight racism or end racism campaign. So
No.
I do believe that
Please no.
it's time for some sort of intervention, even if it has to be an outside intervention into FIFA, because this is, again, getting way too out of control. And I'm still thinking about the Vinny stat I just read off to you, like 20 incidents since 2018. Professional soccer player, 20
Think about
incidents.
Think about this though. Imagine the same ref that gave him a yellow card allowed the match to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And knowing exactly what the height of the game was in that moment.
And I also want to talk about that too, Wendell. What do you feel about this new call to action where they throw up an X and say that's the call to action? Because this is my first time experiencing this in the middle of a game where someone throws up a signal for racism for a VAR check, and I got some little background of why he does that. So from what I've looked up, when they do that, there is basically a VAR investigation that does go down in the backgrounds. They're trying to see if they can piece together anything and make out what was said so they can make any suspensions. Now, in the middle of the game, for me, it felt like I'm just seeing a guy throw up Wakanda forever and they're just going to keep playing soccer. And that just felt like what does that do? What does that do? But again, getting that explanation, I'm sorry, that's what it looked like. Is that not what it looks like? I'm sorry for the conversation we're having. It's very ironic that it was that, but I'm like, what? I genuinely thought it was a joke.
Yeah,
but
again, I've never really seen it before either. But like, it's crazy because like, it's something that you don't see, but it's something that's extremely serious. But it feels like it's being practiced almost. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to explain, but like
it feels like we're going to be done talking about this by Saturday.
Right. Yeah.
No.
They're like, oh, this is our instance. We finally got one. Okay, now let's open the book and see what we do against, racist actions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah.
It feels very performative. They're not prepared. Exactly.
They're not prepared. I think the thing about it is, in a soccer match, you have how many languages being spoken?
Tons.
You're not going to pinpoint someone doing this and saying something under their jersey. All you know is something is said.
Right.
And the only people who actually know what was said were the ones on the field. Not the coaches, not the the thing is, I can't blame a referee for what was said. Only thing that a referee should be able to do is literally send that player off the field or tell the coach, you got to do something here. Something of that needs to happen immediately. Not, we're going to resume and the player stays on the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless there's a discussion where, like I said, if he knew he said something that Vinny reacted to him thinking he said that, and he didn't say anything else back to Vinny to like say, oh no, I meant something else, then fine. You can go to man and say, I meant something else, not that. But to not say nothing and to just stand there like, I'm still good. That means he knew
what he was doing.
He was comfortable enough to say, I'm good here.
Yep.
You in my house. I don't care.
It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a couple of years ago when Myles Garrett was playing against the Steelers and Mason Rudolph was the quarterback, I think, Wendell?
Yes.
Yep.
And he hit him in the head with the helmet.
And he hit him in the head with the helmet. And after the game, he said he said a racial slur. But then you saw how nonchalant Mason Rudolph was after the game. And that was kind of alarming. Like, that's kind of weird that
maybe he did.
you were accused of something and you're kind of just moving quietly and saying whatever, it's whatever. I say that just to bring in Prestiani and say, after Vinny was wilding out and acting all erratic, after he said what he may have allegedly said, he was just kind of looking like, what did I say wrong? What did I do wrong? It kind of like, when someone's saying that you said something racist, I feel like the initial, for me, if someone accused me of saying something racist, I'd be like, whoa, I didn't do that. You get nervy.
Yep.
When you're calm, it's just weird to me. No?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like you you said it, but like you said, he was at home and he was like, well, he the one acting crazy. If I just stay calm, ain't nobody gonna think I did nothing.
Yeah. But the thing about it is this. Most people who are racist are comfortable being racist.
Exactly.
It's not alarming for them.
Exactly.
It's not offensive. A person that has that in them, they're not worried about the repercussion. They're not thinking like, oh, well, I said something wrong. To them, what they're speaking is the truth.
Well, that's true.
So the reality of it in the moment, as much as everybody wants to comment on what he said or whatever, his reaction and his body language shows to me, as a black man, what his intention was.
1000%.
That's who he is. That's not a facade. That's not I'm going to go. No, that is who he is to his core. Because if he wasn't that, he would have went and expressed a different reaction. If a player or a person knew what they said was taken out of context, quickest thing to do, my fault. I meant this.
Sorry.
Easily. Or, whoa, hold on. Let me explain. He was like, nah, that's just what it is. And he did this. So he knew.
And then tried to tell Mbappe he said something else.
It don't matter what you want to tell Mbappe.
Yeah.
It don't matter what you want to tell Kamavinga. It don't matter what you tell anybody else. Like I said, the only people who heard it were the ones on the field. And if your reaction shows that means you really did not care. Because if it's racism involved, you have to care. That means that's who you are.
Yep.
All right, so before we close out this episode, I just wanted to get you guys' comments on what you think should happen for the next game, the second leg of Real Madrid-Benfica. How do you think we go forward from here and make sure nothing else happens?
Well,
it's in Madrid.
Yeah.
It's going to be chaos.
Yeah, they're playing at the crib.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be those fans. I hope they are, united and they stand with Vinny and,
Listen,
they make Benfica's life hell on that pitch.
If you thought Vinny celebrated in Portugal, wait to see what he do at Madrid.
He's going to bring out Gangnam Style.
Right. If you thought he celebrated in Portugal, wait till you see how much vengeance he coming with when they go there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Especially after the game. He's probably going to do a victory lap.
I can't wait for Vinny.
He's going to do either one of two things. Either he's going to be super calm but energetic and enlightening in that game, or he's going to be very expressive.
Yep.
It's going to go one of two ways.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Anyhow, he scores something from distance, or if he just scores in general. But if it's something crazy,
yeah. If I'm Vinny, I'm pulling the Kobe. bro, give me the ball and get out the way.
Yep,
But
exactly.
Mike thought about this too. It's carnival in Brazil. Why would he not dance?
Right.
I didn't think about that either. The carnival did start.
Come on
Why
now.
would he not dance?
Crazy.
Well, we will find out on Monday's episode. But till then, episode 10. It's been a great episode, guys. We'll see you guys on what's today? This is the Friday episode.
Thanks.
We'll be back Monday for another episode. Where can they find you?
At Real Wendell Jr. on Instagram, Wendell Foster Jr. on LinkedIn. I'm still trying to get that Fernando Mendoza NIL money. You know, Fernando, hit me up, my boy. I need that.
We're gonna get him on the pod. We'll set something up.
Listen,
Yes, sir. Yes,
Where can
sir.
they find you, Dupe?
at Footballer Dupe on Instagram. I'm there. Hit me up.
Tell them about player position.
Oh yeah, and I got player position. My bad. Hit me up on player position too. Player position world. Got the website, training kids, and I'm out here. Come see me.
All right. This has been another great episode, guys. We'll see you again on Monday. Take care.
Peace.